Right, so this is my second video on ideas to improve the gay scene in Sheffield. Does anybody know where I might be? Should be pretty easy if you know this part of town. I am obviously in the Cultural Industries Quarter. This seems to me to be the natural, very natural place for a gay village to develop. And the reason that I'm showing you those buildings there, especially that one on the left, is to me that would make a very good gay bar, possibly even a shop, selling paraphernalia to the LGBTQ community or plus community. There's already some accommodation here, there's some student accommodation. These refurbished buildings, very nicely done, the old cutlery works. So already we're starting to develop a accommodation and independent bars, independent offerings down here. As I say, this is the CIQ. There's more building work going on just behind the niche building there. That's where the niche nightclub used to be. Now I think student accommodation. There's probably more accommodation going to go on this side here, so whether that's students or just people who actually like the vibe of the area and want to come and live here, making it more diverse than just students from the university. And there's more student accommodation there. Hallam University is just over there, the main campus. So you can see that this is very much as far as I'm concerned, a more conducive area for something like a gay village to develop. So if I come around the corner, we've got BBC Radio Sheffield headquarters there. We've got the UTC building there. So I'll just mention just one thing about the CIQ is that at the moment it's had this name for many years, but I've always thought of it more of really just an art centre, because there are, around the other side of that building there, and we'll talk about that building in a bit, there's the showroom cinema, the site gallery, I think that's the artworks building, that concrete building there. So it's all about art, but other than that I don't see a lot of culture here. I don't see a lot of diversity. I don't see you know, Chinatown. I don't see an Asian area. I don't see any LGBTQ things around here. And this is supposed to be the Cultural Industries Quarter. Culture is more than just art. But I'm walking down here because we're here at what used to be called the Matilda. It's still up there. Did not get knocked down. The upper floor seemed to have been refurbished for student properties, but the ground floor, to me, looks like it would make a very good small pub. And with a name like the Matilda, it might be ideal as a kind of purely lesbian pub. But as I said about Manchester Canal, Manchester gay scene, one of the positive things about the scene in Manchester is that it's got the canal side. Here we've got the River Porter. Now it doesn't look very attractive at the moment, it's lots of concrete around, but I think there are plans to naturalise this, make it more, turn it back more into a more natural river like they've done across the road, which I'll show you in a little bit. But again, you can see that at the back of what could be this pub here, small pub, there's plenty of area to sit out. It's south facing, so it gets the sun all the day. Once this river's been naturalised, I think there are plans to create a walkway all the way along this river, or at least in parts where they can deculvert it, going up to Encliffe Park and further into the city centre. As I said, these are the back of these new buildings here. So already it's beginning to get a little bit of a feel of Manchester, you know, a smaller version of the canal side in Manchester. So yeah, so We've got potentially a lesbian bar here. We've got a generic gay bar, maybe a shop or something like that just around the corner. And then here on this side, we've got a big car park and a little mini park here that's been developed to help alleviate flooding. Because the River Porter, with it being so narrow, it does tend to rise very quick after heavy rain and tends to flood. So what they've done is, although there's quite a mess, there's a lot of graffiti and litter, it needs clearing up, but I won't go into that. You know, they've created this little inlet area here so that if the river floods, it can go into that, and that will help to hold a bit of water and stop it flooding from further down. Now on its own, this is not going to have much of an effect, but if you have several of these along all the rivers in Sheffield, it will help to alleviate flooding quite considerably. So this was built, what, 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and it's quite a nice landscaped area. But what I would like to see is this entire car park turned into a park. Lots of grass, trees, shrubs, nicely landscaped areas for people to sit out on, and this would be the centre park for the cultural industries quarter and for the gay scene in the city. And I've often thought it would be nice to have it, you know, to have it linked to the gay scene by, well, what can you have that would show that this is, although it's used, it could, you know, it would be open to everybody, but this is specifically a park for the gay community that would come here. Or you could have it as, say, a pink park. So in other words, every tree and shrub and flower that flowered could be pink, just to give it a kind of overall theme. Or the theme could be the rainbow flag. Obviously the pink triangle was from history, you will know, is what gay people were given to show that they're gay by the Nazis before they went into the gas chambers. So that's something that kind of keeps that thought and understanding alive. Not only that, if you're turning this big area here, so it's quite a big area, into soft landscaping, again, you're helping to alleviate the flooding in the city. So yeah, so let's walk along here now and come to that building there. So already, you know, there are people chilling out. It's Bank Holiday Monday here. I think one of the problems is with all this graffiti is that the only people who come here are those people who are actually going to damage the place, who are going to graffiti the place. The more this is patronised by people who have an investment in the area, the more that kind of vandalism is going to be reduced. So we're in the car park now. It's quite a big space. So imagine all this, all greened, nice landscaped areas, trees and shrubs, pink cherry blossom this time of year. Fantastic. But now I want to talk about this building, because this building would be the nightclub and possibly the main bar as well. Again, south facing, so you could redesign all this frontage and open this up to the park so people could spill out into the park. Could maybe have it glass, or could be very modern. You know, the world is your oyster with this building, because it's quite a bland brick built building. But if I come round here, as I say, over there is the showroom, the site gallery, and just on the other side of the showroom is a railway station. So literally within a couple of 100 yards, you're right in the centre of Sheffield's gay village, if this was to happen. Just further beyond, just past the showroom and university you've got the bus station. So again, 200 or 300 yards, maybe a quarter of a mile, and the bus station's there. So this to me would make a perfect gay nightclub, gay bar, possibly sauna. You've got multiple entrances. You've got an entrance low down there, you've got one on this floor here, you've got a mains entrance there. There are students' accommodation across the road, but again, if you put plenty of insulation in, you shouldn't be a problem with noise. And I mean, if you're a student in the city centre, you would expect noise. You know, if you're living in the city centre, you don't expect it to be quiet. Again, Radio Sheffield headquarters there. So yeah, so now what you're probably thinking is, oh great, yeah, where's the money coming from for all this? Well, as usual, this is always the excuse that you get in Sheffield. We can't do it, it's going to be expensive. Other cities do it. Other cities do it because they zone an area off and encourage that kind of development to come in. And it may take many, many years. It doesn't all happen at once. It happens over time. But once you want to create something and people can see a particular vision for something, then things can happen. Especially if you have the right people who are very proactive and are very positive, rather than, no, we can't do that, it's going to be difficult, it's impossible. Well, make it possible. Do what you need to do to make it happen. Because there are developments around here. And as I said before, if we can create a more diverse population in this area, it really does become a cultural industries quarter. It's no longer just an arts quarter, although obviously a lot of gay people are very arty. Not all gay people, but you know, quite a lot are very arty. And so yeah, on every level, this seems to be such a wonderful thing that could happen for the city and for the gay scene in Sheffield. And even creating a park here, instead of having this hard parking. All this was landscaped, all this was a mixture of trees and shrubs and flower beds and people drinking, chilling out, for the university students, for anybody who wants to come here. Kids at the UTC there, who really don't have anywhere to go at dinner time, you know, except for the little pocket park there. So yeah, those are my ideas. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, so if you have any ideas of your own and you want to leave some comments, please do. Could Sheffield support this? Could creating something like this on this scale, with a pub, possibly a shop, a small lesbian bar, a nightclub, sauna, or kind of main trendy bar in that building there, spilling out into the park, could this, and you know, the other developments there as well, you've got other restaurants and bars developing. Could this work? You know, again, bearing in mind you've got all this student accommodation around here, you've got loads more to be built that's being built over there. Just across the ring road there, that tall building is the kind of new, I know it doesn't look like it, but it's promoted as the new Chinatown. But again, it's basically student accommodation for the large Chinese community that's in Sheffield, as I understand it. So yeah, let me know what you think. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. So bye for now.